Hello my little Hodhod friends, how are you doing today? I hope you are all set for another story. Today we are going to talk about honesty. Now, are you an honest person? I'm sure you are. What's your impression of honest people? Do you like them? It's very important to be honest in all stages of our lives. Now, do you think that honesty only is about talking, or actions are much louder than the words? Stay with me and I will tell you a great story about a woodcutter whose life was changed only because he was an honest person. Come back and I will tell you. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, a woodcutter and his family lived in a little town. The woodcutter made his house by the logs that he chopped himself out of the woods. They were not so rich, but their house was always warm and they were happy. One day, the woodcutter and his family were talking and joking about what would happen if they had a lot of money. The woodcutter's wife wanted to eat from the beautiful china plates, and the woodcutter's children wanted to play with all sorts of toys. The woodcutter himself wanted a bigger house. The next morning, he woke up, and after eating his breakfast, he took his hat and trusted axe to go to the woods. His family greeted him in the porch. They were waving at him and wished him luck. The woodcutter was working at the oldest and farthest place of the woods. There, the trees would grow the tallest and the thickest. They were also the hardest to chop down, but it was no problem for the woodcutter. He was so strong, and his axe was the best. It was old, but he had chopped too many trees with that. In no time, the wood chips were flowing all over the air, and the jungle was roaring from the sound of the axe. A little squirrel was around. She was so curious about the sound, so she followed it and followed it and followed it until she saw the woodcutter. She put the nuts that she collected down and sat on the logs and watched the woodcutter cutting the trees. She was amazed at how strong and how fast he was. Every day, the woodcutter would take a break. He would go to the edge of the river, walk a little, and have a drink of water. He would always have his lunch at that time too. That day, he took his axe and went to the river to have a fresh drink of water. He didn't see a stone in front of his way, so he tripped down and fell on the ground. His axe slipped from his hand and fell into the river. Now, what do you think that will happen? The woodcutter went towards the edge of the river, but the river was so deep and so fast. He couldn't see his axe anywhere. It must have been long gone by now. The woodcutter was so sad. He thought to himself, "What am I going to do? This was my only axe." Now, what do you think that will happen next? Well, I will tell you after a short break. Welcome back. If you remember, the woodcutter lost his axe in the river. So he was so sad about it. He was sitting on the edge of the river and thinking that what should he do now? Suddenly, they saw the river swirling with foam. And suddenly, the river came up, it grew hands and head, and it started to talk to him. The river said, "Hi, I'm the water sprite. Why are you so sad, man?" The man was so surprised. He didn't see such a thing. And he saw that the water is talking to him. Can you imagine that? After some moments, he said that, I lost my axe in the river. Now I cannot even find it. It was my only axe. What am I going to do? The water sprite said, I know. I will go to the bottom of the river and I will bring back your axe. Don't worry, I'll be back in a minute. Suddenly, the water sprite was disappeared and the water was swirling with foam again. It was taking long. So the woodcutter thought to himself, I must have been dreaming. There is no water sprite. But suddenly, the water sprite raised again. And he said, I found your axe. Look at it. The woodcutter took the axe and looked at it. It was a beautiful axe. And he thought to himself, whoever is the owner of this axe must be very rich. Why do you think that he said that? It was because the axe was made out of the pure silver. He thought that it would be great if I take the axe and sell it. I can make a large sum of money. But suddenly, he remembered something. It wasn't his axe, and it would be wrong for him to take what wasn't his. So he said, Thank you, water sprite, but I cannot take this. This is not mine. The water sprite was so surprised to hear this. So he said, Are you sure? That's a great axe. Don't you want to take it? The woodcutter said, Yes, that's an amazing axe, but I can't do it. You know that this is not mine. I told you. The water sprite smiled kindly and said, Okay, I will go back and I will search for your axe. Again, the water sprite disappeared and the water swirled with foam. The woodcutter waited and waited. This time, the water sprite was back and he brought something even better than the thing that he brought the last time. It was an axe made out of pure gold. This time, the woodcutter was so surprised. He thought to himself, I can sell this axe and I can take some money for myself and I can buy another axe as well. What do you think that he would do? Will he take the axe? Well, the story is not finished yet. Come back after the break and I will tell you what will happen next. Welcome back. Now, if you remember, the woodcutter was tempted to take the axe and sell it. He thought and thought, and then he remembered, I can't do that. This axe is not mine. I have to give it back. So he told the water sprite, this is not my axe. It's very beautiful and I'm sure that this will be a great axe, but this is not mine. It wouldn't feel right to take it. The water sprite was so surprised this time and he said, but this axe is the best around. He said, I know, but as I said, this isn't mine. I cannot take it. Maybe its owner is looking for it. The water sprite smiled and said, okay then, give me the axe and I will go back to the river and I will bring back your old axe. So this happened again and the water sprite went into the river. After some time, he came back and woodcutter was so happy this time because he saw his old trusty axe in the hands of the water sprite. He said happily, "Yes, this is my axe. Thank you, Water Sprite." The Water Sprite gave the woodcutter his axe, and he told them, "Well, this is your axe, right?" The woodcutter said, "Yes, thank you very much. I was so worried I might not be able to see my axe again." The Water Sprite said, "Well, you're an honest man, and honesty always pays off. So, I will give you the other two axes. They belong to me." The woodcutter was so surprised. This was the greatest gift ever. The woodcutter was so happy. So, he took the three axes, he thanked the Water Sprite, and he headed to home. What will happen next? I'll be back and I will tell you. Now, if you remember, the woodcutter took the three axes and he was heading home. He was so happy in the way. He was singing and singing and singing. He went to the town and he went to a shop. He put the axes on the counter of the shop and he told the shopkeeper, "I want to sell these fine axes." So the shopkeeper looked at them very carefully. After some time he said, "These are the best axes I've ever seen. I will pay you a good sum of money for them." So, a moment later, the woodcutter was leaving the shop holding the bags of golden coins in his hands. That afternoon, his family were waiting on the porch to greet him after a hard day work. Suddenly, they saw the woodcutter coming with two big bags. They were so surprised. What were they? The children ran towards their father and they saw a bag full of big toys. They were so happy. And the mother of the children saw a beautiful set of plates. They were so happy. They finally got what they wanted. There was a lot of money left, so the woodcutter could sell the house and get a new one. That was the time when their dreams came true. It was only because the woodcutter was so honest and good. Now, did you like today's story? I hope so. You must always remember, honesty always pays off. Now, I'll be back with the morals of the story. Okay, dear Hodhod friends, today our story was about honesty. Now, it's very important to be honest in all stages of our lives. We should always tell the truth, even if it's against our will. Islam always tells us to tell the truth. With truth always comes trust, and trust is the most important thing between friends. I'm so happy to have honest friends like you, and I hope you take care of yourself just fine. See you next time. So long.